Hey everyone, and welcome back. It feels like it's been a while. I think it's a couple of weeks since we've had a consignment update. In the time between now and the last big consignment update, we have had some demos go up that you might have noticed. 2021 demos of various guitars that we've got coming up in the auction, expertly played by Jack Kendrew, fantastic guitarist. And hopefully a lot of you will have also noticed that the full catalogue is now online. Finally, it took a while. It's a mammoth sale, just well, nearly 1,900 lots, so it is our biggest sale to date. So it has taken a while, hence not doing as many consignment updates over the last few weeks, and I think the last two consignment updates were a bit smaller. But anyway, next auction is taking place from the 10th to the 16th of June. So it's a 5-day sale. So it's our first ever 5-day sale. So we have guitars at part 1, artist associated guitars, entertainment memorabilia, and that of course includes the Gordon Giltrap collection. That's coming up on the Tuesday the 10th of June. The following day, which will be the 11th, we've got guitars part 2, so anything really guitars £200 and under, or certainly around that level, and then amplifiers. And then on the Thursday we have studio, audio and guitar spares. The Friday, antique and classical guitars. And then after the weekend on the Monday, we have 400 lots of effects pedals. So we've put them on their own separate day, because we have had a couple of big collections of effects pedals that have come in. So yeah, please do bear with us during that auction, because there is a lot to get through. But anyway, have a look at the website, auctions.gardnerholgate.co.uk or guitarauctions.com if you prefer. Have a look at the catalogue, see what we've got, and you will see many of the things we're featuring today in that sale. We're in the main sale room. We have started laying things out. Our sale room team have been busy working away trying to get it all sorted. We're transitioning between a clock and watch sale this week into the guitar sale that's coming up in a couple of weeks as we speak. So half the room is laid out, still got a lot of legwork to do, so we will be busy doing that. But we do have a lot of amplifiers in here as well. I mentioned amps earlier. They're going to be sold on the second day of the auction, and I thought just as we're down here we could have a look at a brief snapshot. So lots of nice vintage Marshall and other amps, silver face Fenders. There's a Bassman 100 up there, and a vintage 70s Marshall sat behind. And then we've got a some JMP Marshalls from the 70s again, all decent things. We've got a Marshall silver Jubilee head there, the 2550 anniversary. Looks like someone's had that painted black at some point and taken back to the original silver Tolex. You can see it's been extensively gigs, lots of cigarette burns. Very rare Marshall Capri there. These were catalogue order amplifiers from back in the 60s. Very rare amps. I believe less than 100 made, or around 100 made anyway. So, but yeah, lots of Vox amps. We have a early 60s copper panel AC30 there. We have loads of AC30s in this cell. We have sort of grey top AC30s from the 60s as well as some 70s ones. At the back there's a couple of white Marshalls there that were previously owned by Status Quo. I believe that's the last 2 remaining Status Quo amps. We've sold all the rest of them, so that is your last chance to get some Status Quo amps if you're into that kind of thing. Another AC30 there, head and cab, so that's the Super Twin set. For those of you who are into the guitarist Josh Smith, fantastic guitarist. He is Joe Bonamassa's touring guitarist, and he does his thing in his own right. That is his signature Morgan amplifier. And a extremely rare amplifier here is the Selmer True Voice Selector Tone in this sort of a strawberry and cream, I guess you could say, custard and yeah, strawberries and cream. That'll do. Finish. The Beatles were known for using the Stadium model in this finish. A nice silver face Vibrachamp down there. And then another rare amp here. We have the Watkins Dominator V-Front. Don't see many of these at all. So yeah, loads of great amps in this sale. Have a look at the catalogue. Like I said, they are coming up on the 11th of June. I think what we will do now is we will have a look through what we have guitar-wise coming up in the next auction from the 10th to the 16th, 5-day sale. And please do remember to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button and hit the bell icon if you like this content, and give us your comments with what you like, what you don't like, and any corrections as usual. Let's take a look. Right, I'm trying to continue from where we left off from the, I guess, the last bumper video, so hopefully you won't see any repeats in this video from previous consignment updates, but if we do a few repeats and you do spot them, I apologise for that. But yeah, first up we have this guitar that is not upside down. It is a Jimi Hendrix Tribute Stratocaster. So if you look at yourself in the mirror with this guitar, the writing will be the correct way up. But there we go. As you can see, the serial number tells us it's from 1997. I've got the usual Jimi Hendrix Tribute neck plate, missing its back plate on this guitar. Bit of discoloration to the finish there. You can see where the case has bled into the finish a little bit. But other than that, it's in pretty good condition. So that is a 1997 Fender Jimi Hendrix Strat. So here we have a couple of Epiphone Casinos. The one in my hand in the ebony finish, 2001, in pretty good condition again, this guitar is. Got some upgraded tuners by the looks of it there. Shala Deluxe tuners, Korean made Epiphone. And then here we've got the one in natural, I guess a la John Lennon in a natural finish. Missing its pick guard, that one, but again in pretty good condition. I think we have more 335 guitars than we have in a long time, or possibly ever, especially these Gibson Memphis ones. This one's from 2008. We have a mixture of cherry ones and sunburst ones in the auction, and we got a couple of older sort of pre-custom shop 90s ones as well. There's a very nice one in a natural finish if you have a look at the catalogue, but this one's obviously in the cherry finish with the block inlays. Very much that early 60s spec, sort of more close to Clapton with the block inlays. But this one again in pretty good condition, as you can see. I mean, I can't really see a significant mark on it. So that's a 2008 Gibson ES-335. We also have quite a number of these Guild guitars in the sale. These are sort of Guild reissue guitars, the Newark Street collection. Very, very good guitars for the money. They tend to hammer within the sort of 300 to 500 price range, but a lot of guitar made in Korea, and most of the ones we have in the auction are in fantastic condition as well, as they are fairly new guitars. But have a look at the catalogue and search up Newark Street collection, and you'll find all the guitars there that I'm talking about. Very good guitars indeed. And one of the rarer, more limited edition models from Epiphone. This is the Riviera P3, I think it is. Riviera P93, there we go. So we have the dog-eared P90 type pickups. We've got the Bigsby type trem as well, or it is a Bigsby trem, licensed trem in the cherry finish. And then as you can see, Epiphone limited edition custom shop on the back of the neck. Good condition. We tend to get a lot of these, hammer price £400 to £500, and yeah, another nice guitar. And here we have a Japanese Gretsch guitar from 2001. This is a G6128 model, the Jet model, in black finish with the mahogany back. Few marks and dings to the back as we can see, but otherwise it's pretty good. And a classy guitar, great design. One of my favourite models, being that I am more of a electric solid body guitar man. But yeah, good Gretsch. And from 2010 we have this Martin 00028 VS guitar, vintage spec. It's got the V profile neck, and then open head there, as you can see. And if we look down, rows of back and sides, spruce top as usual on the Martin guitar, and it's got some aftermarket fitted electrics. It's got the K&K Pure Sound pickup there with the controls in the sound hole, but in fantastic condition yet again. huge choice of Les Pauls in this cell. This is a Les Paul standard with the cherry sunburst finish. As you can see, it has more of a plain top. So some people will like the plain tops, some people prefer the figure tops, but we've got I think we cover everything with the selection in this cell, various different finishes. Just going to remind myself of the year on this one, 2001, so very good year. The early 2000s Gibsons, I think, are very good indeed. Before things start getting crazy in the later part of that decade. But yeah, there we go, 2001 Gibson Les Paul standard. And here we have a Telecaster. This is an American Select with the carved Koa top, as you can see. It's got more of a dish on it than the usual flat top. So yeah, Koa top upon, it's probably an Alderback by the looks of it, typical for Fender. We look over on the neck, maple neck, but the previous owner has pulled the finish back to this very smooth satin feel. It's a vast improvement on playability, in my opinion. It's from 2012, this guitar, got the deluxe locking tuners there. But yeah, very decent guitar and a bit different if you like your tellies. Here we have a Rickenbacker from year 2000. This is a 36012 C64, so it's 1964 spec 360, 12-string guitar in the maple glow finish, and as you can see, it's in very good condition. And here we have a 2016 Paul Reed Smith McCarty 594, and it is in, well, it's in as new condition really. Look at that top, stunning top with that cherry type sunburst finish, all the hardware nice and clean, not really a mark on it. This is the second time we've seen this guitar. We sold it to the chap who put it in, who is now selling most of his collection. We have about 90 guitars from his collection in this sale. Someone who's been coming to me since the very early days, probably the last 50 or so guitar auctions that we've had here, and he hasn't missed many. But yeah, this is one that he got from us, and we sold it on behalf of the original owner, who basically had never played it. And I guess same again with the previous owner, when you have 90 guitars, you're not going to get to them all, so he probably hasn't used it much himself. But there we go, 2016 Paul Reed Smith McCarty 594. And here we have a Burns guitar. This is not completely original, but it's a mid-60s double six, a 12-string electric. It has been refinished. There is some hardware changes. This, for example, is not the original plaque. It would have most likely actually said Baldwin from the period it's from, 66, 67. But there we go, Burns double six. They are decent 12-string guitars from the mid-60s. And one for the bassists amongst you. This is a precision bass Lyte made in Japan from around 1990, and it is light in name and light in weight as well. Very good bass guitars, and you've got the I guess you've got the Jazz precision bass hybrid as well. But they are great guitars for the money. Sort of come in at mid-hundreds, and this one's in okay condition. Some loss to the gold on the hardware, as is typical, particularly for the age of this guitar, but there it is, all good to go. So here we have a National Reso-Phonic. This is a 014 model, and it's got the Hawaiian etching on it, so classic Hawaiian etching on this resonator guitar. It's a single cone stylo type, 14 fret, and it's in great condition yet again. In one of the previous videos, the last video or maybe the one before, we showed you a BB King signed Gibson Blues King. If you'd rather one that wasn't signed, then here we have one in ebony finish, and yet again in fantastic condition. So this one is from 2012. Like I said, ebony finish, great condition, Gibson Blues King. And here we have an antique Gibson, this being 114 years old, 1911 Gibson L-1, and not bad condition for its age, is it? A few battle scars, some wear to the V-profile neck. You can see where this person has played it extensively in the first position, the old cowboy chords. but there we go, 1911 Gibson L-1. So here we have a 1983 Aria Pro II ES-650, and this is basically Aria's take on a 175, Gibson 175. So made in Japan, very good condition as you can see, and a good rival at a fraction of the cost of the original Gibsons. There we go. So we have a Korean-made guitar. This is a D'Angelico XL, and it's in great condition, as you can see. So this is the EXSS model, thin line, sort of semi-hollow body, and I think it's a classy looking guitar in this ebony finish with these very Art Deco type knobs. And yeah, again, not really a mark on it. Another brilliant guitar. So as usual, we got some vintage oddities in the sale, and we got 3 that are very close together in as consecutive lots in the catalogue. So here we have a 1960s Ibanez Montclair in pretty good original condition. It's got the usual rocker switches, and yeah, as you can see, it's got something about it. It's nice to see something different. And then these 2 guitars are actually Russian-made guitars, Soviet-era guitars, and we have a Jolana Star guitar here. And really interesting these are. It's always great to hear the tonal qualities of these different pickups that you don't see all the time. And again, it's in pretty good condition. And then again, this one is a Ural 650. It's got an interesting neck, quite squared off at the edges, but perfectly playable with the interesting switching system. I actually really love the finish on this guitar. I think it's really, really cool. But there we go, you see on the neck plate, I can't read what it says, but there we go. So a couple of Soviet guitars and the Ibanez from Japan. So here we have a 1979 Fender Stratocaster, and this is a hardtail, as you can see, no trem. I'm going to turn it over, no cavity. So hardtail through the back, 3-bolt neck as you'd expect, big headstock, fairly small neck, and it's not bad condition. Natural finish, some dings and marks as you'd expect, all the correct black hardware. So typical of the 70s era. And that is a 1979 Fender Hardtail Strat. And we just saw a 70s guitar, and obviously throughout the 70s we all know, or if you didn't know, the quality kind of got worse and worse. And then in the early 80s they brought in a chap called Dan Smith to turn the fortunes around, bring up the quality, and go back to some more original specs. And this is basically the results. This is from 1982. It is a Dan Smith era Stratocaster. So we go back to the 4-bolt neck, we go back to the smaller head. We still got a bigger 70s logo, but we have sort of a more, I guess, more 50s type neck with the V profile. But this is in pretty good condition, the black finish. There is a few dings and marks, but not bad for a guitar of the age now. And yeah, that is a 1982 Dan Smith era Fender Stratocaster. So here we have a 1988 Fender Stratocaster Plus, and this is in, believe it or not, shell pink finish. There's always going to be a bit of a debate about this because it's not what you traditionally see as shell pink, but this is what it is known at at the time they were introduced as shell pink. Now, this is basically, so I'm told, or according to Zephyri's guide on the Strat Plus models, is pretty much the, I guess, he is the oracle on these guitars, and there's a very good reference guide, tells you all about the history of these instruments with the Strat Plus Deluxe models, and all the different specs over the years with the lace sensor pickups, etc. But there is one of these on his website where he explains how this is kind of the holy grail of finishes of this model, and it does look this colour, and he would know. So obviously the shell pink, more as we know it, is a far more lighter washed out pink, but that is what this is. Most people would say, oh well, it's more of a, I guess, a salmon pink or a faded Fiesta red, but it is not. At the time it was known as Shell Pink. If you do completely disagree with me or know any different, please do say so in the comments, but I am basically going off of Zephyri's guide, who tends to be the person that people listen to on this model. But it's in fantastic condition. This does have some Eric Clapton association as well. It's been consigned by a chap who called Graham Cooper. You can read all about it in the catalogue, but essentially he was one of Eric Clapton's best friends and did use this guitar on stage with Clapton in the past. We also have a Les Paul of his, a Les Paul Deluxe, that does have a link to him as well, and which has actually been used by Eric Clapton in some smaller gigs. But that's all in the item description. But there we have a 1988 Fender Stratocaster Plus. And here we have an interesting acoustic guitar by a maker most of you probably wouldn't have heard of. I'd not ever heard of him, rightly or wrongly, when this guitar came in. So it's a luthier called Stephen Kearney, based in Australia. And this guitar, as you can see, is very good quality indeed. We've got the Indian Rosa back and sides, spruce top, ebony board, mahogany neck. Now, the maker, the main reason you can find information about the maker is that in both the Mark Knopfler and Eric Clapton charity benefit auctions that happened at Christie's, both of those sales had guitars by this maker in. And so I think if they're good enough for Eric Clapton and Mark Knopfler, then they're going to be good enough for most of us. But each artist did have a few of these guitars made by the maker, and he sort of made mainly, as far as I understand it, on reputation and word of mouth. So very well regarded maker, something a bit different if you're a collector of acoustics. And yeah, what will this make? I actually don't know. £1,000 to £2,000 maybe, especially with sort of some artist appreciation and association. But there we go, Stephen Kearney acoustic guitar. So here we have a 2007 Fender VG Stratocaster, which is the Strat that is fitted with the Roland pickup. So it's all fitted ready for the for all your MIDI sounds, and it's in great condition, as you can see. So in 1998, Fender did a limited edition collector's series of the original Fender Telecasters from the 50s, and this is one of those. So they made 1,998 of them, sunburst finish with the gold hardware, which was an option and a spec back in the 50s as well. I believe the guard might be changed because I'm pretty sure these were originally white guards, but maybe they did do a mixture of two. But this is a black guard one in the sunburst finish. Got a bit of buckle wear on the back, few dings and marks, but a limited edition Fender nonetheless. So I always think this is of these as the punk Les Paul, the stripped back workhorse guitars that they are. 1979 Gibson The Paul. So it is basically a Les Paul that is stripped back. So unfinished mahogany body. We got the T-top pickups, fantastic pickups in these, very well regarded, and the contouring on the back as well. But in good condition. Doesn't come with his original case, but does come in a good quality Hamer case. So there we go, 1979 Gibson The Paul. So we have a British-made S-type. So this is a Gordon Smith S Classic HSS spec with the push-pull splitter there on the tone knob, 5-way switch, and it is a hardtail as well. So yeah, good quality, decent timbers, as you can see, the highly figured maple neck, natural finish, and in great condition. Here we have another Gordon Smith guitar, sort of in the cutaway Les Paul Junior, Les Paul Special type or style. So this is a GS 1.5 model, and essentially the way you distinguish them is the pickup counts as 1 and a single coil counts as 0.5. So 2 humbucker pickups would be a GS2, 1 humbucker pickup would be a GS1. I got there. in the end. But there we go. So a GS 1.5 from Gordon Smith. Like we said with the previous guitar, British made, cherry finish. And again, I think very much has association with punk, like the Gibson Les Paul or the Gibson The Paul. There we go. So here we have a Fender American Standard, but this was a Fender special run that they did with these lipstick pickups. So it is known as the Fender Lipstick American Stratocaster. Red finished lipstick pickups. They are Fender custom shop pickups, but they are as standard on this model. So yeah, great condition and something a bit different from the norm if you are into your American Standard Strats. So very similar idea again. This is a FSR American Standard, and it's essentially an American Standard with Fender custom shop pickups as standard. Now on this guitar, the guard has been replaced. It's got a more vintage green guard put on, but everything else is stock, including these custom shop pickups. Now we saw that Fender Stratocaster Plus earlier in the video with the shell pink finish. This is actually what we more associate with that colour, shell pink. So if we put them side by side, it's quite an interesting comparison because they are nothing alike, as you can see. But this is more traditional shell pink. This is what Fender called that colour back then for some reason. I don't think anyone really knows why, but there we go. That is what is known as, but that is a rare colour, as is this a rare colour. You won't find many American Standard Strats in shell pink, but as you can see, again, in great condition. We have a 2016 Gibson SG Special Faded. So another, I guess, stripped down Gibson guitar with the faded finish. And I really like SG guitars, and I really like these because they just do feel nice, not glossy. Always really nice weight, exposed pickups. Great little rock machines, I guess. Here we have a Gibson Les Paul Standard. This is from 1990. There we go, in fantastic condition, as you can see, in the wine red finish. So completely stock Gibson Les Paul Standard from 1990. As I said earlier, we've got lots of different types of Les Paul Standard, different finishes, different figurings of maple on the top. But this is a Plus model, so it's the Les Paul Standard Plus, and the significant thing about it is the AAA graded maple on the top, very highly figured, in sort of this amber or honey finish. Again, in fantastic condition. This one, made in 2013, comes with the Grover locking tuners. But again, great guitar, great condition. And again, a Gibson Les Paul with a bit of variation. So this is a Les Paul Standard Faded. So it's got the faded finish, as you can see. And this does have some upgrades. We've got bare knuckle humbucker pickups. The original pickups are included, and I'm pretty sure we've got a Faber stop bar as well, and I'm sure we've got the original. Have a look in the catalogue description. It's all disclosed in there. But I think these are great with the faded finish. Look a bit different, really highly figured top, with some decent upgrades as well. Here we have a Squier jazz bass, so more on the budget side of the bass range, but this is a silver series, so very well regarded series. But they do hammer in the region of £200 to £300, and you get a lot of guitar for the money. Pretty good condition, few dings and scrapes, but nothing major of note. There we go. And more vintage oddities. Here we have a Hopf Twisty, so German made, with a little single pickup. Really nice lightweight guitar. I think they're a lot of fun, and it's in pretty good condition for the age. And then if we look just to our side as well, we have the old 60s Hofner bass with the single neck pickup. They're yeah, getting rarer to find, especially in that condition. Nice clean condition. And then behind that we have a Westone Thunder 1A bass guitar with just the single pickup in the middle there. Active circuitry, that's what the A stands for, active in the name, but really good high output. Japanese 80s made West Tone Thunder. As most of you will probably have seen by now if you've been assessing the catalogue or daily refresh button hitting to see what we've got, what we've recently uploaded, you will notice we've got a lot of really good acoustic guitars, and we happen to have a lot of decent J200s as well, and this is no exception. So this is very, very nice J200. This one from 2009. There's a small ding to the top, highly figured maple back and sides as you'd expect from these natural finish ones, as well as the neck. So yeah, spoilt for choice on the J200 front. So there we go, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed that consignment update. It felt a bit odd for me today doing it down here and not doing the whole case reveal with each guitar, but we will be back hopefully next week with another consignment update, another more bumper episode like this one, and hopefully more of this room will be laid out, so we'll be able to whip round and get through a lot for you again. The sale, as we said, is the 10th to the 16th of June. The catalogue is live online, auctions.gardnerholgate.co.uk or guitarauctions.com if you prefer. As always, follow us on our socials, check out the guitar demos, expertly played by Jack Kendrew, fantastic guitarist, so you can hear some of the choice highlighted pieces in action. But yeah, thanks for joining us again this week, and I really look forward to seeing you again next time.